Hello and welcome to the Grainaig Creations podcast. My name is Kirsty and I am coming to you from a very wet and dreich west coast of Scotland. This is episode 66. You can find me on Instagram as Grainaig_creations. You can also find me on Ravelry if you are currently able to use it as little-b. There is the Ravelry group, but again, if you are unable to use that, you can also come along and join us on Facebook, where you can find me as Grainaig Creations. And there is also my blog, but at the moment I haven't posted anything for about 3, if not 4 weeks. That's just because life got crap. And we'll get into that at the end. So yeah, welcome back. Can't believe we're on episode 66 for some reason. I think just like everyone this year has just got away from us. Or at least it's got away from me. I think I'll just jump straight into the knitting. I have a good couple of finished objects. One of them, however, I will need to insert a little video of because it is currently on my office room floor drying. And that is my Love Note sweater. So I'm really pleased to have that finished, and it's almost dry. It really is almost dry. So I think I might unpin it and just hang it up and see if that will help speed up the drying process. But we'll see. I don't want to misshape it by hanging it. So yeah. Actually, I should probably talk about what I'm wearing. I'm wearing 2 hand knit things today, and one of them I can't tell you what the hell the pattern is, and that's that. The top is my Amma sweater, and this is a pattern by Maddie Harvey. I love this sweater so much so that I have started a second one. Well, I say have started, I started it a while ago, but I've picked it back up and I'm working on it. So yeah, this is one of my favourite throw-on tops. I love this thing. It is extremely baggy. Well, when I say baggy, I really do mean oversized. And then I'm wearing a cabled hat that I made a good number of years ago. This really was my first cabled project, and it took me a very long time to finish. Like a very long time to finish. And I've got no idea what the pattern is, but if I locate the details for it, I will pop it in the comments, in the information box below. Oh, I'm already out of breath. It's crazy, like I barely talk during the week, and then when I do a podcast I'm just like, whoa, that's a lot of words. So I have, let me pick them all up, because it'll look way more impressive if I do this. If you can hear the seagulls, there's not much I can do about it. I live right by the water. So I have a good couple of pairs of socks to show off. I have just been in a massive sock kick. Okay, so pair numero uno, we'll go with these ones. There's a lot of stitch markers on these socks, and I have a reason for that, which I will get into. This yarn is, I'm pretty sure this is Walbut yarn, which is the German brand. Pretty sure. So these were actually cranked on my oh god, I had the name right earlier. Ashcroft Makers 3D circular print, no. 3D printed circular sock machine. Why was that so hard to say? So these were cranked on my circular sock machine. These were done on the 60 needle cylinder. These are for my mum, and they are covered in mine and my cat's hair. You don't need to see that. So the reason I have a ton of stitch markers in these socks is because I have several other tubes cranked ready and waiting for heels, toes and cuffs. And I'm going to, she's tried them on she says they fit fine, but they didn't quite look right to me when she had them on. So I'm going to see if she'll pop them back on for me. And then I can gauge whether or not for the next one I need to move the heel up or down. I've got a feeling it needs to go up a wee bit more towards the cuff. Not by much, maybe about 5 rows. But I would like to make sure for definite before I cut into any of the other tubes that I have cranked out. Because the worst thing I'd want to have is make her all these socks and then she not be able to wear them because they're not quite comfortable enough. So I have all the stitch markers at 20 round increments. I could have gone with 10, but I couldn't find any of my stitch markers. I don't know what's going on. Like, I have all these really, really beautiful decorative progress keepers and stitch markers, but all I really wanted for this one were the bulb stitch markers, and I was really, really struggling to find some, and I know I've got a packet somewhere and I can't find them, so I don't know what I've done. I've misplaced them for sure. So I had to borrow from my mum, and then I've also used some of my ones from Yarnistry, some of my Studio Ghibli ones from Yarnistry. So I've got Gigi from I don't know if you can see that. Gigi from Kiki's delivery service, and I also have a tiny little Totoro. Oh, and I've got a Kodama as well. I didn't see him. Come on, focus. There you go. So, yeah, I've got a ton of stitch markers still on them. I've still got a couple of ends to weave in. These are not going to her just yet. These are going in her Christmas pile. And I was going to say box, but I don't have a box. So yeah, these are from my mum. The next ones are, I'll show you the other ones. So on my last podcast you will have seen these almost finished, and now they are completely finished. So these are my rainbow wall butt socks again, with a contrasting afterthought heel. These were done on 2.25 millimeter needles and 64 stitches. Can't really say much more than that. One does look longer than the other. I wonder if I've miscounted. Thing is though, like, I literally sit and count each row. I don't know how I've managed to get them different sizes. And then the next ones tie in with the fourth pair and also come with a little story. Okay, so as you will have seen on the last and very possibly the one before that podcast, I have been working on these for my mum, and these are again another Woolbutt yarn, which is a German brand of yarn that I actually got quite a few of from Lolly's Wool Shop in Liverpool. She does not stock them anymore, however, so please don't go rushing to try and buy them. When I got my hands on them, I was physically in her shop and they were priced at £1.50 a ball, so as you can imagine, I bought a lot. And I still have a good couple that I'm going to be working my way through slowly but surely. So I decided to make these for my mum. I had the ball out on my desk for my work, and she picked it up. She's like, "Oh, this is nice." I was like, "Right, okay, that's yours then. I'll cast them on for you." And I had one finished, and then I had one on hold for quite a while, because for the life of me could not work out what I had done wrong, that I was getting a longer heel flap on one sock than I did the other. Now, if I had podcasted last week like I should have, I probably could have remembered why I was such an idiot. Because I ripped it back, I redone it, I ripped it back, I redone it, And then something clicked. Something somewhere clicked that actually I was doing something wrong when I was counting the original heel flap and the heel flap. Excuse me. When I was counting the original heel flap against when I was counting the heel flap on stitches. For the life of me now, I can't remember what it was, but it was something ridiculously simple and ridiculously stupid. And I did laugh, and then I really kicked myself, but I kept going. And I worked up, well, I completed all of the gusset decreases, because I was doing this cuff down. So I finished all the gusset decreases, and then I stopped working on this because I thought, I'm going on a car journey, I think it was that weekend, so I'll take this sock project with me and something else. So I finished up on the decreases, and unbeknown to me, I had popped 2 DPNs in the yarn, and then I'd put it in the bag, forgot all about it, but put it in my handbag to take on this car journey. So, fast forward to the weekend. Scott and I are going to Glencoe, which is about a 2-hour drive from my house. 1.5, 2 hours. And I love Glencoe. I think it's probably one of the most beautiful places you can go and just get out to nature, especially considering everything the world has been going through and everyone's been in, or if not back in, some form of lockdown. We were out of lockdown, so we were not going against any guidelines. We also weren't going to really be stopping in anywhere unless it was to use the bathroom. So we've left my house, we've got our picnic all packed, we're all ready to go. We're driving along and we get to the motorway and I pull out my knitting. Cue panic. I didn't pack a second project. I also did not pack needles to finish the toe. Now, you're probably sitting there going, well Kirsty, you just said you had 2 DPNs in the bag. I didn't know at the time they were in there. I had forgotten that I had put them in. So my mad panic was that A, I didn't have something to finish the toe on, but B, I did not have enough knitting for the car journey. You can see where this is going, right? So we cross the Erskine Bridge and we have to go past a town called Dumbarton. Weird thing, I used to live there and I knew for a fact there was a really good yarn shop in Dumbarton. There's also one in Renton, I think that's the town, or Alexandria, no it's Alexandria, sorry. There's also a really good yarn shop in Alexandria, but I don't know how good their sock yarn stock is, but I knew Threads in Dumbarton had a really good sock yarn supply. So I asked Scott if he wouldn't mind us stopping in at Threads where I could purchase another ball of yarn and some needles to finish the toe. Which we do, which is all fine. I'm very happy. 6 balls of yarn jumped into my hands and demanded to be brought home. Who am I to say no? And I also picked up 2.25mm needles. For those paying close attention, that's a different size from what I said earlier. So, we hit the road, I pull out my sock project, I find that I've got 2 DPNs. I also then remember the sock I'm knitting for my mum is on 2.5. And I've just bought DPNs. Now bear in mind the DPNs in my bag I only had 2 of. And the DPNs I've just bought were 2.25s. So I just finish what I can on my mum's sock. And I pop them on the 2 DPNs I had brought. By this point, with stopping in at Luss for a cup of tea and then taking pictures and just enjoying the view, I think I'd put the sock on the 2 DPNs by the time we were about 2/3 of the way to Glencoe. And by the time we got to about 2/3 of the way to Glencoe, we'd actually stopped in at the visitor centre. So I didn't actually cast on the next project until we got to the town of Glencoe. See, that was a long story. So yeah, decided to cast on. I decided to cast the cuff on with the 2.5mm circular needle that I had, because I had my 9-inch circular. So the 2.5s that I was doing my mum's with, I casted on the cuff. Is this my first one? Yeah, this is my first one. So this is the cuff that I started. And then when I felt the cuff was long enough, I think I'd done 20 rounds, 15 or 20, I moved on to the 2.25mm DPNs that I had bought, and I started the leg. Now, I particularly like this yarn, but personally, and I don't think everyone will agree, I think this looks like Harry Potter house colours. Because you've got Ravenclaw, Slytherin, Gryffindor and Hufflepuff. I think they're Harry Potter house socks. I'd love to know if anyone else agrees. It might not be quite the colours of the houses, but I think it's fairly close enough. So yeah, that was my car ride fiasco when it came to knitting. And I don't know if, given the fact the dreaded C word is still going around, and I don't think Scott and I are going to be doing much more in the way of road trips, I don't know whether to just leave a sock project in his car, and then that way this should never be another issue. It's literally 50-50. When he and I are together and we go anywhere, it's normally in his car, because he prefers to drive. I always joke to say he thinks I'm a terrible driver, but he actually thinks I'm a good driver. Also, his car is bigger than mine. Wee Blue is Wee Blue for a reason, because I have a tiny car. But we don't go far enough, often enough, to warrant me leaving a sock project in his car. So, I don't know. I'm overthinking it. I know I am. But here is the finished socks. They almost match, and the way you can tell is on the heel. Come on, focus. So I've got the blue stripe and the green stripe, and then to get the right amount of rows, I had to put in an orange stripe. And then if you look at the other side, there's 2 orange stripes against 1 orange stripe on this side. So almost match, but not quite. And I made one just a little bit longer than the other, because when I tried on the first one it was quite snug. So I could rip back and put in, I think I put in an extra 2 rounds. Yep, I put in an extra 2 rounds, so I could rip out the toe and put in an extra 2 rounds and then put the toe back in. But I think I've already woven in and cut all the ends. No, I know for a fact I have, which will probably stop me. So these were done with 2.5mm for the cuff with a 64 stitch count. I then went down to 2.25 and kept the 64 stitch count. I have a fish lips kiss heel and again a wedge toe. That's it for the socks, apart from whips. So I just wanted to show you the yarn in the ball. So this is what I'm calling my Harry Potter house cup socks, and it's in King Cole Zigzag. And they've got the yarn as being called Fruit Punch, which I've never seen Fruit Punch quite like this colourway. The numbers, in case anyone wants to try and look for it, is colour 3253, and I don't think the lot number would really matter, but it's 3478. So yeah, that is my house cup socks. No. Hogwarts house socks. Percy shop. Moving on. As I said at the start, I do have one other finished project, but it is on my office floor still drying, and that is my Love Note sweater. So around about here somewhere, I will insert a wee clip just showing it whilst it is blocking. So this isn't the best angle, but this is my Love Note sweater. See if I can move around. I've put the hanger in to help shape the shoulders, but I have then taken it off because this is where the hanger ends and it would curve down naturally. So I've pinned the shoulder and I've pinned the band at the bottom and the sleeves as well. But it's looking pretty good. It feels like it's almost dry, so I could probably take the pins out and hang it up, but I don't want to misshape the shoulders by doing so. So yeah, I'll be able to show this off better on another podcast, but I wanted to show you this level of cuteness. Hello! This is Eli. Hello, baby girl. She's not having any of this. Very glad to have that finished. I have made the body considerably longer. I've also made the sleeves full length, and I decided to go with the pattern, and I done the short rows at the back to lower the back a wee bit more than the front. I'm very happy with it, but I am worried that the mohair feels like fire ants. Not gonna lie. It is my first mohair well, no. I made a mohair hat, but to be fair, I haven't worn it because it makes my head itch, but I thought that was just my head. So I might have made the sweater for nothing. But I do wear long sleeves when it comes to winter, so I could put a long sleeve top underneath it and hopefully wear it just fine. I'm not sure. When I blocked it, because it's whole skarn, I know that whole skarn blooms when it gets washed and blocked. I've not looked closely enough to see if it has bloomed, but a lot of dye came out. But I know red can be quite a tricky colour to set, and I don't know if that's added to that fact, but a lot of red came out when I was washing it. So it certainly will not be getting washed with any of my other hand knits at any point, because I don't want them being stained. But I am happy with the finished object. I just hope I'll be able to wear it. We'll see. Okay, so works in progress. I'll show you this one. You haven't seen this in a while. So this has been kept in a Disney bag. I love their bags. And this is my second Amma sweater. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying I'm going to rip out the bind off on the body, and I'm going to rip out 6 rows. Actually, I'm going to pop my needles in and then undo the bind off and then rip back 6 rows. I'm going to extend the body just a wee bit. So this is going to be completely different from the one I'm currently wearing. The one I'm wearing it's very oversized. It's got a lot of positive ease. It's cropped, and it's also made of wool. So this is not cropped as it is just now. It's just not long enough. It is made of 100% acrylic, and it's not oversized. But here we are. I have one sleeve finished and bound off. I also have a cat hair in my mouth. And I am working on matching the second sleeve because I've done slightly different decreases than what the pattern asks for. So the way it sits on me, I dropped the yarn, ugh, tippy toes. The way it sits on me is just below my belly button. And when I put it on, I looked at it and I was just like, I don't think I like where it's sitting. And I chose to make this one longer than the one I'm wearing. I loved my cropped version, but I want a good variety of sweaters. But when I tried this on and I looked at where it was sitting on me compared to, like, say, my tank top that I had on, I just didn't like where it was. So, because I still live with my parents, who I very much appreciate their input, I walked through and I showed my mum, and I was just like, this isn't sitting at a good spot, is it? And she had a look and she's like, no, it needs to be longer. Hi, Socko! Socks has taken to sleeping under my bed. Come on, come say hi. Come say hi. Oh, what a good boy. Let's get you comfy. So went through and I showed my mum. She's like, no, it definitely needs to be longer. Maybe about 2 inches. Done the same thing with my dad, and he was like, nah, longer. Needs to be longer. It's not sitting right. And I was like, yeah, it's sitting my belly button. He's like, nah, too high. If you were going for cropped, it needs to be less. If you're going for a full length sweater, it needs to be more. So I've decided that I need to stop trying to swallow cat hair. Hello. Would you like down? There you go. So yeah, I've decided to put the needles back in, rip out the bind off in the last 6 or 7 rounds, and make it 2 inches longer, and then do the bind off again. I'll do all that after I've finished the sleeve and the neckband. You gonna settle down? Or is this lunchtime? Have you got a rumble in your tumble? So yeah, that's the Amma sweater. Can't remember what yarn it's made out of, and I don't have a ball band. Oh, no, I do have a ball band. It is being made out of Wendy Pixely, which is their DK. Yep, 100% acrylic. And I don't have an issue with that. I had yarn that needed used up, and I wanted another sweater. Ooh. So, I'm making it out of this gorgeous orangey yellow, just orange, and this amazing tealy green. And I just think these are so amazing together. But I'm pretty sure it was Scott that called it my Iron Brew sweater. So, as much as I love Iron Brew, I don't know how I feel about that. Okay, so if you're gonna sit and clean yourself, don't lean on my knitting. Come on. When Socks sees a bag, it's like when any other cat sees a box. If it fits, they sits. So all my bags are covered in cat hair. And if he sees it open, he will put his paws inside it and try to get in it. It's a bit of a joke, really. Okay, so did I do it in order of which one I started? Yeah, I'll do it in order of which one I started. About Thursday of last week, I decided all I really wanted was a massive hug. I wanted a big, big big shawl. I didn't care if it went over 500 stitches. I didn't care if it used up 2 skeins or 6. I just wanted it to be huge and I wanted it now. So I cast on a mitten. I couldn't find a pattern that I wanted to do. And I'd put a call, you're going to make me open that door, aren't you? Right, you're hungry. Let's let you get food. I'll be back. I got up to feed socks. And I got handed food. So that was a bit unexpected. I got up to let socks out so that he could get fed. And I got shouted on to ask if I wanted cheese on toast for lunch, which sounded perfect. So yeah, after my mid-podcast lunch, let's get started, but actually let's just continue. So, I couldn't find a pattern for my big hug. And I also kind of wanted to use a pattern that I'd either already bought or had already in my library, whether it was like a free pattern or somebody had gifted me something. And I decided to get a head start on some Christmas knitting. But when I say this, I really should say just winter knitting, because this isn't for anyone else, this is for me. So I decided to start the underwing mitts, which is a colourwork pattern by, I knew this name like 3 days ago, now I don't know it. Erica Hauser. So this is a paid for pattern, and I was gifted it by the lovely Deborah, and it was already in my Ravelry queue. No. Brain's not all there today. It was already in my Ravelry library, and so I just decided to cast that one instead. Which is totally the same thing as a giant 2 to 6 skein shawl. But I really like it. I'm really, really enjoying it. I was flying the first day, and then I tried to take it whilst my mum, dad and I went out for coffee and didn't get any work done. Well, really actually we went out for afternoon tea. But I really do like it. I'm really, really enjoying it. I'm very, very happy with my stitches and my floats and my tension. But I lost steam on it very quickly. I'll maybe pick it back up today. But because I'm doing it on the recommended needle size of 2.25s and I'm doing it at a looser tension than I normally would because of my floats, my needles were trying to escape, and so I had to get a needle stopper doodah. So I've just got literally both of my needles in this wee thing, instead of one for each one, and it definitely does the job. So the yarn I'm using for this is Knit Picks palette, and I'm using the ash, which is this one. This is the ash, which is a really quite deep dark grey, and then I'm using cream as well. I don't plan on doing the duplicate stitch on the wings, so I don't even have a printout of the front sheet because my printer decided to break literally about 1/5 of the way down. So I don't have a picture to show you, but if you just like go on Instagram, or if you can access Ravelry, put it on Ravelry and find underwing mitts, then these will come up. The only stitch that really bugs me and I'm pretty sure I can put my needle in and wiggle the stitch around a wee bit, is there is meant to be, and there is actually, a white stitch between this box and the start of the moth. And I don't know if I've held my yarn the wrong way, because I'm trying to do it where the cream is the dominant yarn, but you just can't quite see it, so I need to wiggle the stitches and see if I can make that a wee bit better. But yep, that is the underwing mitts. And then I have a new sock project. Now, before anyone gets all, whoa, look at that yarn, I don't think the dyer does it anymore. She did another run of it, but the colours are not the same. And also mine's on a sparkle base. So this is yarn from Mothy and the Squid from the very first ever Perth Festival of Yarn, when it was, I wouldn't say the Salvation Hotel? I think that's right. But yeah, this was my first ever skein of Mothy and the Squid, and it was my first ever Perth Festival of Yarn. What is going on? There we go. So this is the yarn. You can see the sparkle on that. Isn't that beautiful? The toe is knit out of West Yorkshire spinners, and then the yarn is, I don't have the tag for this anymore, so I don't even know what it's called, but she did do a second run of it, and I did buy a skein, and you can look back maybe about 4 episodes and you'll see it, but the colours just aren't as saturated, and it wasn't offered on a sparkle base, so I don't think you can get this anymore, because when she done that one it was a special run of it. So, but I'm not going to not show it because it is one of my works in progress. I just don't think you can get the yarn. I had originally knit a pair of socks for my friend Pip in this yarn, and it left me with pretty much exactly 50 grams, 50.2 grams of yarn. And I was just like, ooh, wonder if I can get a pair for myself. So what I'm literally going to do is knit up to the heel, put in a Fish Lips Kiss heel, and then I'll start the second sock. I could just take 25 grams and then knit and be done, and then do 25 grams in the next one. And to be honest, I probably will do that and just take it out of the centre. But I couldn't be bothered, to be perfectly honest. But I really like these socks. I have a thing for rainbow socks in case no one had noticed. I just love them. They're very cheery. I love them, I love them, I love them. And this has been kept in Socks' favourite bed. I swear to God, because this one opens out so much, he sees it like a box. And he's like, I can totally fit in that. And my socks is quite big. He does not fit in it. So, unfortunately, it is covered in cat hair. But that is the accompaniment of having a cat. Now, the last thing I have is my crochet blanket. But I only put one row on it, so I don't really see the point in showing you. But it is still there. I'm actually going to sit and work on it today after I do some sewing. I need to do some more face masks. I would like to do a larger one of this. I have it all cut out and ready, I just needed a bigger zip. So I have the zip somewhere. So I might do sewing, I might not. Part of me just wants to get my jammies on, put a movie on and just craft. Just found a stray thread. Why am I pulling it when there's scissors in this back? There we go. So yeah, that's me on the knitting front and on the crochet front. So this is what I have of my scraps. the lovely Amy was so kind and sent me a message on Instagram saying that she had some scraps if I wanted her to send them. And I said yes because it was all the yarn types that I was looking for. And so I've got those in some of the most beautiful bags. And it turns out she made them, which is phenomenal. And I will show them at the end. I'll need to stop the clip and get them out because they're in the box behind you. Along with some of the yarn that I have received. I say received, my mum bought some yarn for me. And then I also bought some yarn for some future Christmas gifts I would like to start. So we may as well just go on to the proper chatty section, which I don't do very often, so yay for us. So I started this by saying that the week had been pretty crap. I was meant to record last week. I was really run down, like really run down. I went to see my sister and got my nails done. It's just black and a nice pink. So that was last weekend, and then I pretty much spent last weekend just chilling, really. Work has been super exhausting. I'm on another project that, to be perfectly honest, I was not expecting me to be put on, and I also didn't want to be put on. And I have raised my confusion as to why I'm on it, to be told no, I actually should be on it, so we'll see. I know it's going to be a good thing to be on the project, but I really thought someone else was more knowledgeable than me and should have been put on it, but alas, that was not the case. I love my job, I really do love my job, but I really couldn't understand why I was put on this because it doesn't quite match my job role. But we'll see. So that was quite exhausting. I've literally been on a call every day for the last 2 weeks about this new project, and I literally have just got to the point with my mental health where I want to hibernate. And when I say that, people know that I'm not doing fantastic. When I say I want to hibernate, it's because my depression is surfacing. I might seem like chipper and upbeat today, that's because I'm having a better day. But when I want to hibernate, it's normally because it's too much. There's too much on my plate, there's too much going on, I'm overwhelmed, I'm overloaded. And so I'm just taking it one day at a time, which is all I can do. And yeah, but I do feel a lot better yesterday and today. I think what helped is having another weekend to myself. Unfortunately, Scott does have gastroenteritis, which sucks. I've had it twice, it's nasty. So he is bedridden, and I can't see him because I know I'll catch it because it is horrifically contagious. So he's having a recover weekend. I'm having a relax weekend. We'll see each other next week because it's his mum's 70th next week. Well, it's her birthday on the Monday. I won't see her on the Monday because I have work, but we're going to treat her to dinner next weekend. He and I are also going to go up to Glasgow because we've not been in Glasgow for months. Well, I haven't. He was there last weekend, I think. What else? I don't have an exciting life. I'm working on a new design. I have a... Oh, this hat's making my head itchy. That, and I'm also getting really warm. Working on a new design. I only have a swatch started. I'm really liking it, but so far the design has changed about 5 times. Love the design process. It's really enjoyable. But no, honestly, I still have this idea in my head, but it's the construction of it has me confused. And I don't know who I can reach out to get their help with it, if anyone. But it's just trying to rack my head around it as well. I'm a visual learner, and everything I'm trying to do is in my head, and so I'm trying to figure out in my head if visually it's even possible to then try it without doing it and ripping the yarn out another time, because there's only so much you can rip yarn out before it's kind of done for. I think that's me. I think I'm now just blathering for the sake of blathering. Oh, I got my ring back. For those that don't know, my ring broke a week after I got it back from the jewellers. So Scott proposed in New York at the very end of February, start of March, before lockdown, for all of that jazz, and the ring didn't fit. I have particularly large hands. I call them man hands, but I don't mean that to offend anyone, it's just what I've always called them, because any man I've put my hand up to, my hand is either that size or bigger. Whenever I put my hand up to a female's hand, this is normally where the female hand sits on mine. So my hand, my ring finger is a jai. Oh, I don't know. I didn't pay attention to that stuff. I'm not that person that knows the ring size. And when Scott gave me the ring, it sat, like, it literally only got to about here on my finger. And then we got it resized and it went up 3 sizes. And within a week, I started feeling something really weird in the back of my finger. I was like, what the hell is that? Took the ring off thinking maybe there was just a bit of grit under the ring. And it turns out the ring had literally snapped right down the middle of the back. Very clean break. So they reckon they just hadn't soldered it properly. So we finally picked it up 3 weeks ago. And yeah, so far it seems absolutely fine. I'm very happy to have it back. My finger was feeling very naked, but I take it off at night because I scratched myself in the forehead. I don't know what I done. I think I just went like that and like rubbed my forehead or something, and I just scratched my head. So yeah, the ring comes off at night. Mostly so I don't do myself more damage. But yeah, that is me now this time, I promise. But thank you so much for watching. If you want to come over and follow me on Instagram, then please do so. Again, if you want to on Facebook. I am on and off Ravelry. I try to use it as little as I possibly can. Even with on the classic view, I just feel like I can't support them anymore. But I can't leave because I have some open threads, I have some ongoing make-alongs and all that jazz. So yeah, we'll see. But we always have Instagram or Facebook, or there's also the blog. Again, I will try and get posting on there more regularly and everyone can take part in the comments. But yeah. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have enjoyed this very blathery episode. Feel free to hit the like button or the dislike button if you really didn't enjoy. And I hope you'll hit the subscribe button as well. And until then, I should see you in 2 weeks' time. Bye!